this is Natalie, and I'm in Mr. Martin's 9 o'clock class, and this is my critical response to Common Sense by Lynda. And so a summary of this story is pretty much the author and how she goes to different people's houses, and she realizes that each house has a different scent, and it doesn't matter, like, if he tries using the same type of air freshener or detergent or anything, he can't get that certain smell in his house. And he kind of has this, like, revelation when somebody goes and says that his house doesn't smell particularly good, and he kind of gets offended, so he goes back to his house and tells his grandma, and she says something that I kind of can relate to. It's on page 553. She detailed the smells of black, Mexicans, Italians, some people I never heard of, and the difference it made if they were wet or dry, fat or skinny. Naturally, I brought this information home, and it made me realize that people's houses smell a lot like whatever kind of culture they are. Like, I'm Brazilian, so my house usually smells like, people say it smells like barbecue or like food that you'd find there, like rice and beans and certain spices that I guess you don't use here. Like, I don't really eat out. My mom always makes food. But that also goes for my best friend. She is Japanese, so her house always smells like Asian food, like sushi and salmon, and I don't particularly like it, but the author also goes and says, talks about the lady with all the cats, and pets really do influence the way people's houses smell. Like, I had a friend, and his name was Nolan, and they had a dog. It was some type of mix, but the thing shed like no other, so his house constantly smelled like dog hair and wet dog because it's constantly running in and out. And so I think that the author is trying to send like a kind of a message about acceptance of different cultures, especially because she talks about so many different types of people and different customs. Like, there's the one lady who's kind of like a clean freak, so her house constantly smells like detergents, and there was also a point where there's on page 556 where she talks about the different types of smells and the things that affect the smells, like plug-ins and light bulb scents and vanilla spices and stuff like that. And yeah, and I agree. I think that your house is pretty much smells like either your pets or your food or something like that, because that's pretty much what it is. Or like somebody has some really strong perfume. But it's interesting to see like the different cultures and different people have their different scents. Like I said, Asian people usually smell kind of more towards the fishy side, and Mexicans have that like Mexican food kind of smell. But a lot of it does have to do with what you eat, I think, and I totally agree with what she's saying. But it's also something that you just accept. Like, if you want to go, like, if I want to go to my best friend's house, I'm going to accept the fact that she's Japanese and that her house smells like Japanese food, which she's used to. And also, he brings up the fact that he can't smell his own house, which I totally agree with, because I moved into a new house when I moved here to Texas, and the house still smells like the same old house that I used to live in, so I haven't seen any difference. But yeah, that's how I feel about this, and I totally agree with what the author is saying. So yeah, I'll see everyone in class tomorrow.